She is walking towards the central point. Movement feels smooth as peripheral vision helps guide her navigation. In terms of perspective, the central vision lacks in providing guidance, but when circulating the central point, space is perceived through peripheral vision, which gives her an idea how the whole space looks like. She is now walking through the edge. She can confirm her movement, distance, as well as orientation, but she is unable to predict and see how far the window is in front of her. She then now heads to a specific point that she chooses, which is the chair. She is unable to see when she reaches the chair closely, so she seeks through touch to identify, but she is able to spot the specific area from a distance. She finds that there's no specific changes in perceiving spatial size. She felt that her movement towards the central point is smooth, as main central vision allows her to see what is in front. There is lack of peripheral vision, which causes the lack of awareness of her peripheral surroundings. When walking towards the corner, there's no vision on the left of the bookshelves. Her perspective of space are limited. She reaches the specific point, which is the chair. She has to position her head down, only able to see the chair. She is not able to see peripheral surroundings, which causes her to be aware of what she might bump into. The distance and spatial size doesn't feel very much affected. The movement to the central point is not as smooth. She is proceeding cautiously and slowly as she is unsure of what obstacles are in front. However, she can tell the difference in direction, but mostly she had to rely on touch to guide her path. With blindfolded, she still can tell a small difference in the change of lighting, giving her a sense of direction. She sensed that she has no distance awareness of the space, feeling unsure of how many steps she needs to take to reach a point. When there is nothing to hold onto as a guide, she feels unsure of her location. She also thinks that mentally the distance between the spaces are much further, but through movement she feels the spatial size is smaller. The spatial size she felt are the areas between obstacles, not edge to edge of the space. Walking towards the central point, she is able to orientate and navigate, but she is unable to predict what is the distance and nearness between herself and the objects on sight. Movement is quite smooth for her, as she relies on her peripheral vision to observe her surroundings as she walks towards the edge of the bushes and to her specific spot. Circling around the spot, she doesn't feel her spatial size and spatial distance has too much of an obstruction. In the outdoors, she feels that lower lighting provides better vision control comparing to strong lighting, which causes her discomfort and obstruction of sight. Moving towards the central point, she can't see what is in front of her floor level. She is unable to navigate uneven surfaces. However, movement still feels smooth for her, but she feels it is easy to trip on uneven paths. Head is continuously positioning downwards for navigation of her path. Her sense of closeness to objects, however, is more predictable. She can sense a certain distance between her and the objects or edge on sight. In terms of distance and spatial size, she feels that it does not have many changes. Moving forward, she is able to feel a sense of direction, but it is hard for her to pinpoint where the central point of the site is. As there is nothing to hold onto as a guide in the outdoors, she uses her feet as a tactile guide to navigate her path. She is unsure of her body direction and orientation when walking towards the edge, even though it is in a sense of right direction. Similarly, as in the indoors, the distance and spatial size of the site feels smaller and shorter than what is perceived in the spatial memory. With little sense of light, the outdoors where there are trees and branches that causes shadows and movement by the sunlight and the wind will startle her senses, causing her to think there might be an obstacle around her.